Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to do something different. I'm going to be addressing a few comments that I saw in my last video on Jamie and Nikki and the 5 reasons I think they broke up. So in that video I listed my 5 reasons and drew my own conclusions on why I think ultimately they could not work it out. And one of the reasons I drew upon was the fact that statistically speaking, it's more possible that couples who are inter-ethnic couples versus homo-ethnic couples will end up in divorce. And I think that what people understood from me saying that is that black and white couples will end in divorce or have higher chances statistically to end in divorce. And I'm just here to address that and offer some clarity, especially for those people who did not understand what I was trying to say. I thought I was clear when I implied that culturally this is more linked to the cultural differences that are inherent with such couples, as opposed to being a matter of fact that one is black and one is white. This was not what I was trying to say. So to quickly, just out of curiosity, it's just to put it out there that I have no hatred or distolerance or some sort of agenda against white and black couples. My husband personally is a white Belgian guy, so it's not that I was trying to say anything out of spite or happy that the relationship ended. This was not the point of my video. My video was just typically pointing out that there are scientific journals and scientific articles that express, and they have done studies in group settings to show that the chances of couples, especially referred to as inter-ethnic versus homo-ethnic couples, will end in divorce. And in this case, when we say inter-ethnic couples, what we actually mean is that couples with large cultural differences, especially where they have different countries of origination, as opposed to your typical, if you were both born and raised within a similar cultural setting. This does not work. And if you think about it, your typical African American and your typical white American have all been raised in a system which encourages the same norms and the same values. So this does not necessarily apply, because I saw a lot of people in my comment section pointing this out, that they've had their husbands now, they met them when they're in high school. This might not necessarily apply to your situation. It especially applies to situations where there are cultural variations in the way you're raised. So in Jamie and Nikki's case, and this is why I pointed it out, Nikki is originally from Sudan and Jamie is a white Australian guy. So depending on how they've been raised, I'm from African origin and very close to the Sudan. So I feel I could understand better the cultural implications of how we are raised to grow up, as opposed to if you're born in a more progressive country like Belgium, like the USA, like the Netherlands. It's completely different, as opposed to more conservative countries. Take your African countries and your Asian countries. It's completely different, especially on the cultural spectrum. So it's completely logical. But anyway, for today's discussion, I thought it would be fun to read some excerpts from one of the studies. So I've chosen to talk about one study that was conducted in the Netherlands. And the title was Irreconcilable Differences, Ethnic Intermarriage and Divorce in the Netherlands. And this was conducted between 1995 and 2008. So the key things I would like to point out here, because I'm not going to go into the full study, but I can link it down below in my description if anyone is interested to read. There are so many studies. Many have been conducted in Hawaii, in USA, in Australia, in the UK, so it's endless. If you really want to understand the implication that culture has on whether a relationship will last or not, I strongly encourage you to get your reading on. But anyway, so today, one key thing I want you to take away here is, for example, I'll read a small snippet from the introduction. It says, research on marriages between members of different ethnic groups can be traced back to the roots of sociology, as it refers to one of its core problems, namely the problem of cohesion. Ethnic intermarriage, also known as ethnic exogamy, indicates strong links between members of different ethnic groups within society, and is therefore considered to be an important indicator of the social integration of ethnic groups. From this perspective, it's important to consider divorce of ethnic intermarriages, because the ethnic Exogamy does not have the same value for societal cohesion if a large proportion of the marriages end in divorce. So, generally, studies show that inter-ethnic couples are more likely to divorce than mono-ethnic couples in the United States. And the studies were done by Fu 2006, Jones 1996, Zhang and Hook in 2009, and further there were studies done in Australia by Jones, that's in 1994, and in the Netherlands by Hansen 2002, Kamingen et al. 2005. So there's a lot of existing literature on this, but I just want to point out a few things here. In the theory of why inter-ethnic couples end up in divorce, there are two theories on this. One is the theory of homogamy, and the other one is cohesion. So this theory of homogamy, so there are two theories have been used in inter-ethnic divorce literature: homogamy theory and convergence theory. In homogamy theory, it is argued that inter-ethnic couples are more likely to divorce than mono-ethnic couples. Convergence theory predicts the divorce rate of inter-ethnic couples to be in between the divorce rates of endogamously married couples involved. And why? Now let's get to some of the reasons why. According to homogamy theory, two mechanisms play a role in the likelihood of divorce. First, it is argued that individuals who marry across ethnic boundaries experience difficulties in dealing with different preferences. Inter-ethnic partners disagree more often on important relational, e.g. how to raise the children, and general issues, e.g. world views. While it is also likely that they share fewer interests and activities together than mono-ethnic partners do, for example, Holman, Marriott, and Amato 2008 show that inter-ethnic couples report more conflict and less shared values, although the influence on divorce risks was moderated by negative third-party influences. Following homogamy theory, it is therefore more problematic for inter-ethnic partners to live in marital harmony than it is for mono-ethnic partners who were raised with similar cultural norms and values. And so this is another interesting one. When they say third-party influence, what does it mean? Second, homogamy theory considers the influence of third parties to result in additional challenges for inter-ethnic couples. Gaines 1997, Hansen 2002, and Kamen and L 2005. Third parties such as friends and family are likely to prefer ethnic endogamy over exogamy in order to maintain internal group cohesion and protect the ethnic identity of their groups. Thus, third parties may exert control over individuals by posing sanctions on undesired marriage behavior. For example, they may express direct disapproval or refrain from social support to the couple following the arguments of preferences and third parties. Homogamy theory experts that partners from different origin countries, and I repeat this, partners from different origin countries have a higher divorce risk than partners from the same origin country. So it's a really long study, it's very explicit, it explains everything, but the key takeaway here, as I tried to say, I thought I was clear on my last video, but perhaps I was not. The key point here is that cultural differences do play a huge role in whether the couple will last long haul or it will not. As I said before, in America, the chances are that a white American and African American have grown up with the same cultural values, norms, and customs because you're within the same country. Yes, there's a difference between African Americans and white Americans, but usually the customs that you were raised with are similar to that extent. However, if you have someone raised in more conservative nation, i.e. maybe Sudan, maybe you come from the Zambia, maybe you come from Kenya, maybe you come from South Africa, whatever. The fact is the customs, the cultures, the norms, the beliefs what is instilled in you growing up is completely different. So if someone like that gets a partner from, let's say, the Netherlands, which is a highly progressive country in the sense of the way they see things, you know, so there's going to be cultural clash, because if I come from a very conservative country where I want my kids to be raised a certain way and I don't believe children should be speaking back to parents, and then someone else is from a more progressive country where they have no problem with kids interacting face to face and speaking up to adults, eventually in the beginning, because of the love, you might stand for certain things, but the longer the relationship goes on, you might realize that these differences, which seem small and minute in comparison to the larger picture, making your home, starting your family, mortgage, whatever, it might seem small, but in the end it grows and grows and grows, and you might realize that ultimately these differences cannot be resolved, and you're going to grow to resent each other or grow to disdain each other because you do not agree with the way you want to culturally raise or start your family. So just to point out once again, I have no problem with people in interracial relationships. My husband is white myself. That was never the point of the video. The point of the video was to explicitly express that culture does play a significant role in why some relationships do not work. Anyway, I think I've said enough on this. I was not really scheduled to make a video on this, but I saw a lot of the comments where people going off and about why culture is not a big thing, and oh, my husband and I have been together for the longest time. Yes, it is more than likely that you and your husband might be together for a really long time. There's always exemptions to every rule. Even in the study, it's clearly stated. However, you might not be a statistic, but maybe now Jamie and Nikki, unfortunately, might join the statistics of the study, which clearly states that inter-ethnic relationships are more likely to end in divorce. And we obviously know Nikki was from Sudan and Jamie was from Australia. This goes to prove that the study is to the greatest extent accurate, and personally, just logically thinking, from me, my own daily life and my own experience, because I'm more than certain that for Jamie and Nikki, culture was probably not the biggest issue in their relationship. There was probably a lot more, and I was going to make another video on this where I sort of pulled my receipts, but when the statement came out to respect their privacy as anyone would, I decided to take the higher road and not do it and respect their wishes. So anyway, that's it for me, guys. See you in the next one. Bye!